Hello everyone, welcome back to another Pokemon Crystal Clear playthrough. I hope that everyone is doing very well and is ready to enjoy a bit of Pokemon relaxation. Today, what I am going to set as my personal goal is to defeat another gym and set out on a determined path. So what I had in mind was, I think I am going to go back to Olivine City and challenge the gym there. So let's go ahead and head in that direction rather. So for anyone who is joining this playthrough for the first time, I'm actually going to battle through some of this grass here. But like I said, for anyone who is joining, ooh, look at that, a Magnemite. Anyone who is joining for the first time, last episode we caught our midnight mischievous in the burned tower to become our our third Pokemon in our party. So, this is a scaled and open world version of Pokemon Crystal. I guess it's not technically open world, but it's an open adventure where you can navigate the game in whichever order you would like. So, we are simply traveling through the Pokemon world of Pokemon Crystal and just picking up partner Pokemon as we find them. I don't have any specific Pokemon in mind, but wow, all of a sudden we are encountering some Pokemon that we have never seen before. That's pretty cool. A Tauros. I bet we can get some substantial experience from Tauros here. Hopefully we can get a nice confused attack and whittle it down. Excellent. Alright, Midnight, I would like to get the majority of my Pokemon to around level 16, 17, something like that. And maybe if we're lucky, we will get a fourth companion. But I don't want to rush and select a companion Pokemon too soon. I just want to go based on what Pokemon I find interesting at the time, so I'll know it when I see it. Wow, we got over 300 XP for that. I thought we would. That was awesome. Alright, so let's go ahead and continue here. We're just going to see if we can pick up just a bit of experience along the way with some of these wild Pokemon. As a side note, I do really like Magnemite and Magneton in my original playthrough of Pokemon Crystal. Or I'm sorry, not Pokemon Crystal, Pokemon Heart Gold version on the DS. I played with a Magnemite and eventually a Magnezone, and it was actually one of the main reasons that I was able to defeat Lance in the Elite Four. his Dragonites weren't very effective against my Magnezone. So, I always have a soft spot for that Pokemon. Okay, so Magnemite fled, which I feel like you don't see that often, but okay. Alright. So we made the short trek to Olivine City, and we will quickly heal our Pokemon. I almost want to say that there was an NPC in this town that told us to come back once we had 3 gym badges. Or maybe that was in Cyanwood. I can't remember. This is the point where it would be beneficial if this was a live stream, because anyone who remembered that portion where we encountered that NPC could tell me in chat, but eventually we might transition this video series to live stream, but we will see. Alright. Oh yes, usually, I forgot. Usually I think this is the gym leader who's not here until you complete the lighthouse event. I was wondering why there were no trainers, but it's usually because you do a large story beforehand and then come in and battle Jasmine. So in this kind of opened up story, you can just go ahead and come right in. Alright, let's see how this goes. This might be kind of difficult, judging by her first Pokemon. Level 18. We might be getting to the point where the scaling is starting to become more difficult, since we do in fact have 2 gym battles, or gym badges now. The game might get very difficult for us after this gym badge. We might have to leave and train just a bit. I guess we could do the lighthouse while we're here. There are a lot of trainers in there from what I remember, so that might not be a bad move to go in there and pick up some levels for our Pokemon, because this looks like we might be a bit under-leveled, just slightly, but still. Alright, down goes Midnight, unfortunately. We'll let Birdo have a shot here. Yes, even Birdo is unfortunately going to be underleveled. I'm not sure if she will still have her Steelix or if it will be downgraded to an Onyx at this level. I'm not sure. I guess we'll see. Let's try attack. Maybe we can get a nice status condition. It's a long shot, but it's still a shot. If we can land a hit here. Wow, that's 2 consecutive. Hurt itself in confusion. Results. Oh, okay. So we are going to be definitely leaving and training in the lighthouse, which, you know, will be good. It's one of the areas it said that the lighthouse was made in honor of this Pokemon. So I wonder if the Ampharos is still at the top. I'm not sure. I guess we'll see. Alright. Hoothoot, that's perfect. We should be able to pick up some good experience here and grab some levels for our Pokemon. I'd like to get Grapple to level 15 in this lighthouse if possible. I don't want it to fall behind, and it's already 4 levels behind Birdo and 2 levels behind Midnight, so we have some work to do. But that was a great win for it right there. It didn't even take any damage, which is ideal, obviously. So let's see what else we have. Alright, not bad. At least when we battle these other water-type Pokemon with Grapple, we have strength that just hits for pretty solid damage. So it's actually a sneaky good Pokemon to use against water-type Pokemon for us. Especially if all they are using is Bubble. Since we learned in episode 1 that Bubble is incredibly weak. Okay, there is a level 14 right there. Perfect. One more Poliwag. Excellent. We're just going to keep rolling with Grapple as long as possible. I'd like to primarily use it by itself and not have to resort to the swap in, swap out method. So if we get really low on HP, I may leave and go heal up at the Pokemon Center. Okay, perfect. Almost halfway to level 15 here. Let's continue. There we go. I am willingly looking for any trainers who will battle me at this point. Bird Keeper. I really like the Pidgey design in Generation 2. It's just really good sprite work. I think it looks excellent. Wow, that's actually just a bit of decent damage there. But it's a bit higher level than those 2 level 12 Poliwag. And this guy has 5 Pokemon, so I may have to do a bit of swapping during this battle, but that's alright. I think I can still pick up level 15 here. This Pidgey's level 12, so that's a bit better for us. I don't remember if I have any potions with me, so I will check here in a moment. Alright, almost there. Maybe we could even get to level 16 with Grapple and the Lighthouse. That would be great. Okay, so this Pidgey is level 16. This is going to be the point in which I need to pull a swap. So we are going to put Midnight in and let it see what it can do. Perfect, there we go. So, several of you commented on the last video where I had some confusion on why Psywave was not hitting super effective as a psychic, and several of you pointed out that it was based. It was not based on damage modifiers such as super effective or not effective, things like that, which is what I had assumed, but like I said, sometimes I forget some of those nuances to these smaller details in these games. As you can see, we did just hit level 15 with grapple, so that's great. Let's go ahead. I like to throw this confusion ray down just because since I don't hit very hard with psi wave, it's nice for the occasional extra damage, even though it does slow down the battle just a bit. Let's see if we can get... Yeah, I just really need a different... Oh, well, I just remembered that we did get Shadow Ball from Morty. I need to utilize that. I completely forgot that we had that attack. That will be much better and should pack quite the punch for midnight. Okay. There we are, level 16. We should have one more Pokemon. I'm going to go ahead and let Birdo finish this off for us. And get a bit of experience for itself. Oh, it's almost level 18, so this will be perfect. What a great little stop here for us already. I couldn't be happier. There is level 18 there. Okay, so I'm going to teach Shadow Ball to Midnight and give it a much more viable move. You have to be very careful here because it doesn't ask you if you're sure, so if you accidentally click through too quickly, it will just automatically delete the first attack that you select, so it can be quite an issue if you're not paying attention. So I'm going to go back to the Pokémon Center and quickly replenish my Pokémon's HP, and then we will dive back into the lighthouse for some more training and hopefully some more levels. Okay, I do really like how you can let your Pokemon follow behind you. It's such a cool feature. It just adds a lot to the character of what you imagine you and your Pokemon adventuring together would be like. I know a lot of you have said that you enjoy the R&R series adventure, Pokemon Adventure series that I've created for similar reasons, because it makes you feel as though you are actually in the world of Pokemon, which is exactly why I created that series. I have a lot of fun crafting that world and creating the storylines. Sometimes I know the stories might seem a bit basic in nature, but that's a lot of the time it's because I have to make it work in a ASMR context as well. So I try to mix in as much plot and further the narrative as much as possible while still providing solid ASMR triggers and moments. it's a bit of a balancing act, but I still really enjoy it, and I do put a lot of thought into where that story is going and what Pokemon we are going to encounter, capture. So, hopefully, most of you are enjoying it and having a fun and relaxing time while watching the videos, because I have such a great time making them, and I have the story planned out a long way. So, I actually have the story planned out quite a ways from where the videos are at the moment. So, I have a full list of what gyms we are going to face, the various characters that we are going to cross paths with. So, it is very purposeful. I have a certain direction in which I'm trying to take the story and trying to take the Pokemon that we have with us, hopefully. I have some twists that will be surprising to everyone, and moments that will be really enjoyable for that kind of role-playing nature of the Pokemon universe. And hopefully you can kind of get lost in the story and put yourself in the shoes of the observer in the videos. Krabby on Krabby battle. Unfortunately for this Krabby, Crabble is not your average Krabby. It has ascended to hero status and will not be stopped. Let's see if we can pick up one more victory with strength here before we switch back over to one of our other Pokemon. I think once I get Crabble to level 16, I'm going to swap back to Birdo and try to get it to level 20. That way I at least have one Pokemon that's kind of a bit more powerful to carry the bulk of the weight in difficult battles. Trying to learn Harden. I think I'm okay. I'm not going to learn Harden. Alright, so we now have reached level 16 with Midnight and Grapple. So we are going to put Birdo at the front of the party once again. And try to get it to level 20, or at the very least, level 19. I have a feeling that Jasmine's second Pokemon, whether it's Onyx or Steelix, is going to be at least level 20. So I want to make sure we are as prepared as possible, since we don't really have any Pokemon who is super effective against her Pokemon, and we can just move on and come back to this area at a later time. But we'll just kind of see how we are feeling after we're done with the lighthouse here. We have leveled up quite a bit, so it's been great so far. Excellent. Alright, last Spearow here. Just going to knock it down with an additional Psybeam here. And perfect, I was hoping that we could get the one-hit KO rare candy. Perfect. I used to love when I found a rare candy back when I played Pokemon Crystal for the first time, because I would use it, and I would use the clone glitch with the time, well, I guess what was it, the time capsule, the time machine that Bill had. You could use it to clone Pokemon, and if you had them hold an item, you could clone that item as well. I would use that a lot. Okay, let's go ahead and see what that... Okay, swagger. I'm not interested in swagger. Okay, now we have to figure out where we are going to drop down. I'm going to try this one. I love how it shows Birdo was concerned when I fell down. That's actually a really great touch. Okay, so that actually just dropped us down one floor there. Let's try this one. Okay, I think this is the one we needed. He said sailors are both kind and strong. What about you? You know what? I'm not sure. I think we will see. Birdo is definitely strong, but I could see it being very kind as well. It does actually have a bit of an empty stare, but beyond that, I think it could be very cuddly and kind. Oh, so close. Okay, so at least we know. And there we go. It says we are both kind and strong. So I guess we have our answer. Alright. And let's go ahead. Okay. I love how they all just keep talking about Jasmine, but Jasmine's not in this lighthouse. At least I don't think so. Especially since we just battled her at the gym, but maybe she's at the top as well. I'm not sure. This should be very devastating. Psybeam to the fighting type. That's exactly what I was hoping for. And there it is. Level 19. Right on schedule. This is perfection right here. Just a long line of fighting type Pokemon running right into my Birdo Psybeam. It could not get easier. Oh, the surprising Poliwag at the end. I was not expecting that. I feel like we've battled a lot of Poliwag so far in this game. Especially since Chuck had a Poliwag as his ace Pokemon, which I still can't get over. I was really hoping that it would knock itself out right there, but looks like we will have to finish the job. Psybeam is such like a devastating sounding attack. The screen goes black and the sound that it makes is just makes it seem as though it's like the most powerful attack out there. I always found it a bit strange how there are no wild Pokemon in this lighthouse. You would think there would at least be some like Rattata or something like that. Alright, here is our Ampharos. Want to feed it a berry? Yes. Alright, collided. Whoa. We just got the silver wing. I was not expecting that at all. Okay, so I guess that's their version of reworking the reason to come up here and visit Ampharos. Well, that's pretty cool. So it looks like at some point Lugia will be ours. Okay. Can I rest here? Oh, I thought maybe I can rest at this bed. What I have always found really funny and honestly kind of interesting. This might be a great idea for ASMR roleplay. But just the idea that this Ampharos lives just up here at the top of the lighthouse by itself. It's almost a bit sad, but whimsical at the same time. It's up here just at the peak of this lonely lighthouse. And it just has a little bed here, and like a table with a coffee mug, a plate. It's just really funny to think about. And I'm not sure if like this is supposed to be a TV here at the end of the table, like a downward view of it, but it's funny that this Ampharos just happily lives up here, isolated at the top of a lighthouse, and that it just sleeps in a human bed. I've just always found that kind of funny. So we're just going to start dropping down here. So overall, I think we did fairly well for what we were setting out to do here. We leveled up quite a few times with several of our Pokemon, and we kind of caught Gravel and Mischievous up to each other. So, yes, 19, 16, 16, that's great. Okay, so that, and we got the Silver Wing, so that was definitely a successful run there. Okay, so I think what we will do, we will challenge Jasmine one more time and see if we can get through that Magnemite and see what we're going to be dealing with her other Pokemon. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to lead off with Midnight and try to just Shadow Ball it down. I want to see what her second Pokemon is and if it's something that I think we can take down or if it's something that I think we're going to have to leave for later when we possibly have a Pokemon that's more effective against it. So, let's see. I think we can get through this gym battle. The issue is, if we do make it through this, there is a chance that, because we know that the world is going to scale once we get another gym badge, so there's a chance we might fall quite a bit behind for the next gym and have to do quite a bit of training, which is fine. I'm not opposed to that. Okay, that didn't do anything. What am I forgetting there? I feel like I can't remember any Pokemon knowledge when I'm playing this game. Is Ghost not effective against Steel type? Apparently not. That's one of those that I just completely forgot about. But, oh well. Another unintelligent moment for me there. There will be plenty if this playthrough goes very long with very many episodes. You will see me make many silly mistakes. Okay, so we do have this Steelix. Okay, this is going to be a bit rough, I think. But I'm going to try to throw down Confusion first. Oh man, Steelix is so awesome. Okay, like I suspected, level 20. going to try to apply Confusion Ray. We know its defense is going to be crazy high. So, awesome. Well, that's lucky. Let's go ahead and use Spite. See if we can get that down a bit. I don't even know what Iron Tail's PP is. Reduced by 5. Wow, okay. I was hoping it would hit itself again. Wow, okay. That's actually pretty intense. So let's go ahead and just waste a Shadow Ball here. At least it did a bit of damage. Well, we've gotten lucky so far. It has hurt itself twice, so we're just going to try to whittle it down a bit. I was hoping that would miss and I could apply another Confusion Ray, but oh well, Midnight, you did as good as you possibly could have. So we're gonna go Crabble here. We're going to go... we're gonna hit it with 1 Leer. Its defense is so high, it's going to be an issue either way. I don't love that. I'm gonna try Leer one more time. It's honestly probably a really dumb move because my Morgan Psybeam is special anyway, so. But maybe we can at least hit it one good time with strength. Watch, this is gonna barely move. Wow, and that's even with 2 Leer. Yeah, this Steelix is going to be trouble for my current Pokemon, but who knows, maybe we can get lucky with Birdo somehow. We're going to... I forgot what conversion 2 even does. I can't remember. That honestly might be useful right now. Is that the one where it switches stats or something like that? I'm probably missing a good opportunity there, but Psybeam actually hit decently hard there. We could get lucky. Maybe it will hit its... That's honestly really lucky. Hit. Yes. Guys, we might actually be okay here. Okay, so never mind. That Hyper Potion was right on cue. I'm sitting over here, hopeful and naive, as Jasmine just casually sprays a Hyper Potion. Alright. So, I'm going to try this and just see what it does. I completely forgot. Oh, okay. Well, that's honestly perfect because the sandstorm won't be effective anymore. Okay, so I should have done that from the very beginning. So go ahead, and that's one that you can definitely clown me for in the comments. And that's funny. But like I said, there will be plenty of moments like that, so get used to them. That should kind of cut down. Wow, alright. I should have used a potion there. I really thought we were going to get lucky. Alright. I think we can... Here's the thing, do we take down Jasmine and put ourselves behind the 8 ball with the next gem? Or do we go ahead and adventure on and level up a bit on our journey? I'm not sure. You know what? I can't resist. I'm going for it one more time. I'm going to do kind of the same method that I used before. This time I will apply conversion immediately. That way I don't take any damage from the early sandstorm. And then at half health I will apply on my potion. I have that super potion that I just picked up in the lighthouse. So that is my strategy here. So we're going to use Confusion Ray, and I'm not going to worry about using Spite twice like I did last time. Hopefully we can, there we go, get a few good hits from Magnemite and myself. Try to get this Magnemite down as soon as possible. What I'm hoping for is that we can keep Midnight at pretty solid health and utilize Confusion Ray on Steelix. Maybe 1 or 2 times, because my Psybeam from Birdo will also have a chance of... Okay, that's a best case scenario right there. There we go. Alright, my Birdo's Psybeam will also have a chance of applying Confusion, so... Alright, let's go. So that's my best plan. Okay, so we're going to apply Confusion Ray. I know we can get through this battle, we just have to be smart about it, but we're in the absolute best shape we can be in. All of our Pokemon are at full health. Alright, so we do have Sandstorm down, which is not great, but we're just going to... I guess I'll use Shadow Ball. I don't know if Psywave would be any better. It might, honestly, since it doesn't use damage multipliers. Well, it doesn't matter. But I did... Okay, I did get Confusion down, which is good. So once again, I'm not going to worry about... let's just see what Bubble does. Honestly, it's not that bad. At least it's super effective. I don't know if that was any worse than... Okay. I don't know if it was any worse than Strength, but we'll see. No, okay, it was better than Strength. I should have stayed with it. And of course it hit with my defense down. I feel like I'm doing worse this time around. I just had kind of some bad RNG there. It hasn't hurt itself nearly as much as it did previously. Wow. Okay, my conversion 2 failed. Which I'll be honest, I didn't even know that was possible. Alright, it subsided anyway. I should have that left over on. I don't know what I'm thinking. Okay. I'd love if Steelix would hurt itself in Confusion at least one time. Jeez. Alright, I'm just going to use my other potion here. And hopefully it this, or no, okay. I am not doing well here, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit it with a side beam and just accept my fate, because I haven't even gotten to the hyper potion yet. So, we will not be defeating Jasmine today, but that's alright. So, what we need to decide now is where we will head next. So, I can either go south and use the ferry to go to Kanto, or I can go back the way I came, go down here through the national park and to Goldenrod. That would give me a lot of time to train before Goldenrod, which I feel like that might not be a bad idea because I am a little bit under level. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll go back to Ekritik, down south through the national park, maybe pick up another Pokemon, and head to Goldenrod. Alright, that sounds like a good plan to me. So, starting in the next episode of this playthrough, I will head out on my journey. Make sure that you subscribe or check out some of my other content, and